How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you. For those of you who are historians, the last press conference we did in this room was the first press. Apparently we have name tags today. Karen, you get to go to the right. Pat and Diane, please make sure you stand in the right place.
Yes, very efficient.
Please check that. I don't think we've ever done that. We had X's. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming out on short notice. I'm joined by the Commissioner to my far left of the Department of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti. To my immediate left, the State Police Superintendent, Colonel Pat Callahan, and to my immediate right, the Chief of Staff of the Board of Public Utilities, Taryn Boland. We haven't been together for a while, so this is our first storm press conference of this winter, and I'm hoping it's our last. I'll leave it to Diane, Pat, and Taryn to discuss in greater detail the specific preparations they and their teams are undertaking, but we are ready for whatever comes our way over the next plus or minus 36 hours. As of the latest, we're looking at potentially significant snow across the very northernmost parts of the state down to the I-80 corridor. Morris, Sussex, Warren, and western Passaic counties are under a winter storm warning. Eastern Passaic and western Bergen counties are under winter weather advisory. I have further declared a state of emergency for those 5 counties beginning at 8 p.m. tonight. Again, that's Morris, Sussex, Warren, Passaic, and Bergen. I also want to announce we're going to open our state offices with a 2-hour delay in the morning so that the crews that are out there, both utility crews as well as transportation and law enforcement, can have a chance, a little bit more breathing room to be able to stay ahead of this. Further south, this storm appears to be shaping up first as a heavy rain changing over to snow early tomorrow, with a couple of inches possible closer to the I-78 corridor, down to a trace of snow farther south. Diane, I think you said to me if you were to add one other county to the list of accumulation, it'd probably be Hunterdon, with something in the 2 to 6 inch range. If you are traveling, please let the state, county, and local road crews treat and plow the roads. Our highway crews especially work in formation. If you see a road crew getting into position or working, please let them have the road ahead of you unimpeded. The Department of Transportation has also been coordinating with NJ Transit, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, the toll road authorities, and our regional partners and neighbors to ensure everyone is on the same page. On the back end of the storm, there are potentially damaging winds for tomorrow into Wednesday. Winds of gusting up to as much as 50 miles an hour aren't out of the question, and small craft advisories and gale warnings and gale watches are active up and down the coast. With these winds comes the potential for power outages. If you lose your power, report it to your utility immediately. If you see a downed power line, please stay clear of it, and again, call it in. Notwithstanding how many times we've said that, we've lost lives in our administration for folks who went ahead and touched the down wire. Please remain, I know Tara will want to make this point, please remain mindful that while our electric utilities will try to restore power as quickly as possible, weather conditions at any given moment, especially high gusting winds, could prevent utility crews from getting up in a bucket safely. In fact, Taryn, by law, they're not allowed, they don't go up if it's over 40 miles an hour. And it well could be. So we thank in advance everyone who's going to be on call and working during this storm to keep our state safe, the DOT, partner authorities and agencies, county and local road crews, utility crews, state troopers, police, fire, EMTs, and every first responder. The Office of Emergency Management will post regular updates at ready.nj.gov. That's my favorite all-encompassing place to go, ready radio.nj.gov and on their social media channels. We will also post updates on our official state channels, including at NJGov on Twitter. I will now turn things over to the Commissioner of the Department of Transportation, Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti. Diane?
Good afternoon. As the governor said, we received a storm warning alert from our weather service and have been responding to that all day in preparation for what we'll see later tonight into tomorrow. We have coordinated with the DOT, Turnpike, South Jersey Transportation Authority, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and New Jersey Transit. As of this time, there are no scheduled changes to New Jersey Transit service. That will only happen if the situation gets worse and they are not able to maintain their traditional routes. We suggest, again, as the governor said, ready.nj.gov, newjerseytransit.com on their social media outlets. Please make sure you watch Twitter, Facebook, and I guess sometimes even on LinkedIn you'll find some of those posts. Not differentiating from it. There's a 6 o'clock New Jersey Transit board meeting tonight. That board meeting has been changed to virtual just to ensure the safety of all of our employees. Those meetings go late. We want everybody to get home safely tonight before the weather breaks. As far as assets, we will have all of our traditional assets, all of our DOT trucks, our contractor spreaders down south, central part of the state, our contract spreaders and plowers in the northern part of the state. There is a commercial vehicle restriction being implemented. That commercial vehicle restriction is, the same as it always is, empty straight job trucks, tractor trailers. So we are coordinating with Pennsylvania and New York on that particular issue because they are implementing similar bans as they go across that much more mountainous part of the region. So we want to make sure that we're assisting them as they have always assisted us. Other than that, it is the same advice we give all the time. If you don't have to go out, visibility is not good. Even now, for those of you driving up, I'm sure you noticed coming up with a lot of water kicking up off the roads right now, visibility is tough. The winds are going to pick up. It is going to snow. It's going to turn back to rain. It's just going to be a messy, messy night out there. So if you don't have to go out, please stay home. If you are out and you see any of our teams working, whether it's the colonel's teams on the side of the road helping a disabled vehicle, our folks working, please slow down, move over, and give them space. Our motto is everybody goes home every night, and that's the way it's got to be. We want everybody to return to their families when all of these storms are over. So really appreciate you getting the move over message out for us. Other than that, we will be working all night. And if you know how to reach our comms folks, but I know the governor's comm folks will be working as well, and we'll be keeping everybody updated through our traditional social media platforms. Thanks, Gov.
Thank you, Diane. Diane, I have to ask you about boats.
No boats.
No boats, okay. Please help me welcome the Superintendent of the State Police, Colonel Pat Callahan. Pat?
Thank you, Governor. I'll echo a few, both the governor's and the commissioner's remarks. With regard to our posture and preparedness from an emergency management level, we hosted a few calls today with all of our county OEM coordinators and our state partners, as well as the National Weather Service, including a call with National Weather Service just prior to coming in here. I'd also, for those that have to be out there, and we stress that if you don't have to, don't, but 511NJ is the best place to go to see where current traffic conditions are. And I also just highlight register ready. .nj.gov. That's for anyone with access or functional needs. That helps first responders prioritize if we need to get there, up to and including the service providers. So that's registerready.nj.gov. Our state EOC will activate tonight at 8 o'clock, and we'll monitor this through the night. Again, volume out there with regards to crashes, that increases crash risk exponentially in a storm like this. So we do ask that if you don't have to be out there, please don't. Let those crews do their job. The commissioner she does a better job at me in highlighting the slow down and move over law. Even in the recent week or so, we've saw a few brutal accidents that have seen first responders spared, and that was during dry conditions. So please pay attention and slow down and move over, because one crash can then turn that snowplow removal operation upside down. I also just, especially in those higher elevations where the snow amounts are going to be high, to check on your neighbors. You may have some that are snowed in. Give them a hand if you can. It will be a very wet, heavy snow, so do it in small amounts. We have lost people in this state over those heavy snowstorms over prior years that overexerted and suffered due to cardiac arrest. And I'll close with a message that I'm certain that my brothers and sisters in the fire service will appreciate. And I know we just set the clocks ahead, always a good time to check and change the batteries in your smoke detectors. And I offer that up again. We've seen a lot of fires across the region in the last few months, deadly ones too. So a good opportunity to make sure that your smoke detectors are operating properly and that they have new batteries. Please be safe, and we trust that together we'll get through the storm. Governor?
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. As always, please, last but not least, help me welcome the Chief of Staff of the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, Taryn Boland. Taryn, come on down.
Thank you, Governor. And on behalf of President Fiordaliso, here just to reiterate what the Governor said with regard to power outages and downed wires. If your power does go out, please notify your utility immediately. Don't assume that somebody else has called it in for you. If you see a down wire, keep a safe distance of at least 30 feet, assume it's live, call 911, and let them know that it's there. With the winds gusting up over 40 miles an hour, we won't be allowed to have the bucket trucks going up to do repairs and assessments. So if you do lose power, please be patient. Once the winds calm down, they can go up. That's to protect the linemen and women who go out there in these conditions to help get our power back on as quickly as possible. We've been in touch through the President and our Division of Reliability and Security with all of our utilities. They have crews fully staffed. They are prepared. They are monitoring the weather as we all are, and will assess and change course as needed. And you know, that's really where we're at right now with our preparations. So thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Taryn. Folks, just in summary, this could be, depending if you're in a high elevation location in those counties, I'd say particularly in the Northwest, this could be a foot of snow. So this is a meaningful storm. Of course, it's coming in March, which that's the good news is we have a short runway till we know the weather's going to get better, and that's good. But that doesn't mean tonight and tomorrow won't be tough events for a lot of folks out there. So please, please, please be careful. I reiterate, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. State office's 2-hour delay. Ready.nj.gov, I think, is the best catch-all place to get information, and we'll be, as all of us have said, we'll be communicating aggressively through all of our various channels. Any quick questions before we break, please?
Any indication from the National Weather Service that this has scaled back to any degree? Colonel, I know you said you were just talking.
You should weigh in. I think the answer is no, but Pat, you were just on with them.
No, and the Governor mentioned it. This is the higher elevations, upwards of a foot of snow. And I also just caution, the last few storms seem to have not been as predicted, and I wouldn't want that to lull anybody into a sense of complacency or we're going to be okay. I do think we need to focus on the latest models, which are showing that those northern 5 or 6 counties are going to be impacted, particularly those higher elevation areas.
And lastly, if you don't mind, for the Governor, for Diane, just big picture here, the fact that you haven't been here until now with winter storm prep, what has that meant? Has that eased resources for the departments? Has that meant less money for contractors? I guess, you know, what has that meant?
We miss each other, so we're trying to find other ways to get together that aren't related to either a pandemic or Mother Nature. Come on in, Diane.
So this is actually the 28th event of this snow season. Sure, because anytime there's a condition that calls for any type of freezing temperatures, pavement temperatures to be cold, there to be excessive water, and anytime we get 6 or more calls from locals for road treatment, it automatically triggers an event for us. So this is, I think, 27 or 28 at this point. But again, you know, for us, sure, our contractors aren't being called out as much. The department actually doesn't hold a budget specifically for winter operations. It works with the Department of Treasury for managing this, so we don't have a big pot of cash someplace. We're like, yay, now we can do something else with it. That's not how it works.
Oh, come on.
You know, it's a wise way to do it. And so we'll look at what our snow costs were, but again, we'll roll, you know, everything going forward from last year into this year and look at that. One other thing I do want to mention, because I can almost hear it, is, well, this is just a lot of rain. We haven't had a lot of rain like this in a while. We've had rain, but not like we're going to get. The other issue you have on the roads when it comes to speed is hydroplaning. And so, again, it's the kind of message that needs to get out, is if we want to reduce serious crashes and fatalities in any kind of weather, it just starts with safe driving all the time. There is a lot of water on those roads right now. And I would just suggest, the more you guys are our mouthpiece. You guys are the folks who get the news out, and you get to pick what you show. So showing the move over law, showing slow down, is really, really key to people being safe, and the Colonel's folks being able to really help people who are in need and not necessarily have to simply respond to crashes or the SUV in the ditch because they thought they could go as fast as they want. The hydroplaning is a big issue.
It's a fact that water has been the biggest killer in my time as governor, and that was overwhelmingly in Ida. But a lot of folks said, you know what, I don't care that it says don't pass, I'm going to drive through this, and they died. Please.
A lot of the water loosens up the soil and makes the roots not as firm. So have you guys over this kind of mellow winter been, I'm not sure if this is the state or local municipalities that do it, trimming trees near major power lines and everything, so when something like this happens, has that been going on?
Yeah, it's a regular occurrence, and Diane or Taryn could talk about it, but that would have gone on anyway, and it goes on, a lot of that goes on in warm weather in the summer, spring and summer.
And it's a combination of the state
Maybe we'll add to
and the
that.
municipalities and counties. It's whoever owns the road. So that does get done, but as the Gov said, not usually in the winter, usually once the better weather hits. But yeah, they do work with that, and they work with BPU crews. DOT supports the BPU crews when they need to cut and toss to get trees out of the way so that they can do their line work.
Any comments on that,
Yeah,
Taryn?
just
Come on in. if
It's
you
something
could.
that the utilities have a schedule for. They go around and it's what we call vegetation management. And it's, something that they're working through across the year when the weather's good and they can get up there and out there and do it. And as the commissioner said, the local localities also, where they have the right-of-way responsibility, they're out there trimming trees too.
Yeah, other than the battery point, that you made already, Pat, I'm not sure this is necessarily relevant, but we've had very few storms in our 5+ years together that came after daylight savings was in place, so that'll be another wrinkle on this one. Anybody else? Are we good? Stay safe, everybody. Ready.nj.gov. Don't go out if you don't have to. If you do go out, please respect the crews. Be safe. State office is opening, 2-hour delay tomorrow, and if your power goes out, don't assume someone else is calling it in. Please call it in yourselves. Thank you all. Thanks for doing it. Say hi to Joe, all right?
I will.